Hey there, it's Iron here, and welcome to my top tip for new players for Dead by Daylight. We're going to walk through a few things. This will be a general overall tip just for those new players, especially since PS4 has released Dead by Daylight for the free game of the month. Alright, one of our first top tips is, as you're getting started, make sure you play at least a couple of games as a survivor and a couple of games as a killer. Why? Because as a survivor, you're going to see some things and understand some things that the killer won't understand if he's brand new and he's never played the survivor side, if you plan on playing killer. And if you're the survivor and you never play the killer side, you won't see some of the things that a killer will see, and you won't have a full understanding of your actions. Now we're going to walk through some of those things, so hold tight. Just wanted to let you know that up front. Noticeably enough, it spawned right up on the hill, like all good totems do.
Well, now would be a good time to explain totems. Well, totems are a good 600 points unless they're glowing like this. That means they're 1,000 points. And when they're glowing, that means that the killer has a hex. You always want to destroy it, especially if you see it, as soon as possible. Unless, you know, the killer's right there. Then you want to run for your life.
You definitely want to destroy the ones that are glowing, because those are the most important ones in the game. And right when she finishes, though, it makes a loud bang notification and lets the killer know, hey, someone just destroyed your totem, come get them and kill them. This is a dull totem here. It's different than the hex totems that are glowing, but it's still important to get them. There's 5 totems that are on a map altogether, and if the killer is running a perk called No One Escapes Death, it means he can one-hit you and down you at the end and kill you. But if you destroy all the totems on the map, then that perk is rendered useless. Also, when a dull totem is popped, it does not send a notification to the killer. Right, as a survivor runs from the killer, he leaves scratch marks on the ground. And if they're evading through the trees or you lose sight of them, you can follow the scratch marks until you catch up to them again. So if a survivor throws a pallet down, you'll also get a big loud notification like that right there. As they vault over the pallet, as you can see right there, you also see the loud bang and notification. There you go. So you got the loud notification because they missed a skill check. Now if they miss it twice, that's shame on the survivor side. But hey, if you're new, you'll still be doing that. Also, if a survivor fast vaults through a window, it would also give a loud notification to the killer. Like that right there. All of these things will let the killer know your approximate location on the map. So if a survivor is injured, you'll notice down in the bottom left corner that Brittany371 has a different icon. That means she is in the injured state. Now you can see that if she's in the dying state, in the bottom left-hand corner, you'll see that it shows her completely laying on the ground. So as a survivor, you might want to locate that survivor and help heal them up as long as the killer is still not in the vicinity. Because if the killer is still in the vicinity, then he could take you out too. Right? As a killer, if someone is actively on a generator or exit gate, you can actually walk on them just like you're going to hit them and pull them off. And then you can find your hook nearby. And hook them. Hook them and book them, Dano. And as a survivor, don't ever do what she just did, unhooking your teammate right in front of the killer. Oh. That's what it looks like if you're missing a skill check on a hook. You can also sabotage a hook and completely take it down to where it's not available to the killer. If you stand in place for too long idle, you will actually get crows start crouching over your head, which are visible to a killer if they're close by. But also, if I go a little bit further away, you'll notice, just like there, I start getting an audible and visual cue that something is going on. In this particular case, it's somebody standing idle. So if a survivor runs and fastballs into a locker, you also get an audible sound and visual notification. As a killer, you'll also get an audible and a visual cue as soon as the survivors complete a generator. There you go. This way you can now go and try to run them down. So as a killer, one of your number one nemesis is the flashlight, which can cause a survivor to get off and be saved. Now there's a couple of things that you can do to avoid that. For example, on my Billy right here, I'm running a perk that's the very bottom perk called Lightborn, which makes me more immune to flashlights. And while it won't prevent them from saving it altogether, it will if I pick her up and then look up quickly. So while I did get blinded, they did not get the save. The other thing you can do is, if you know that they're going to hit you with a flashlight, is pick up the survivor by facing the wall, which prevents them from blinding you. As a killer, you want to try to find the quickest hook, because the survivors can wiggle, which will actually throw you to the left and right unless you run certain perks like Iron Grasp or Agitation. And if they wiggle fast enough, they can get off before you can actually get them to the hook and escape. One of the other things as a killer and survivor is that a survivor, if they're in the pallet, they can be saved by another survivor if they drop the pallet on the killer. So you want to know that you can do that as a survivor, but also be aware of it if you're the killer. By dropping the pallet on me, the survivor was able to get away. Alright, I hope these tutorials was helpful. Don't forget to leave your comment, like, subscribe. A special thank you to Brittany and Crystal for their assistance. And hey, we'll see you in the fog. Until next time, this is iRun. Later!